So apparently Paramount is suing over this Warner Brothers Netflix deal. They said that they want to see the numbers. They want to see how this is a better deal for Warner Brothers to sell itself to Netflix. We're going to talk about this. This is Kneon. This is Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
I did a little bit of a different intro, so I kind of threw myself off here. Yeah, and this is CLOWNFISH TV. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
All right. So let's get right into this. It's just crazy. I'm kind of looking at this like, what the hell is going on? So according to Discussing Film, Paramount has filed a lawsuit against Warner Brothers to get them to disclose greater financial information about the Netflix deal. They also plan to nominate Paramount-friendly directors to Warner Brothers' board who they believe would vote against the deal with Netflix.
It's a proxy battle.
Yeah, pretty much. I do like this meme, though.
I know. It's what it reminds me of.
Daddy, I want a Warner Brothers now. Now, here's the thing. Like this, it feels like Netflix already had this in the bag before Paramount got involved.
Well, that's what they're arguing, too, is that they're making a deal. But Warner Brothers said, and I kind of don't think they're wrong, is the problem with the Paramount deal, too, is the fact that they're taking out so many loans, having so many different investors with fingers in the pie and stuff to try to make enough money and taking on the debt that they don't think they can, do so. And they're also worried that some of the wording they had was not exclusive and they could just walk any time, or they had wording in there like, they could sell off assets apparently, or things that they could just take and then just get rid of a division if they felt like it. And I mean, before it was purchased, and it also holds out for 18 months. There's a lot of wording in there that they were concerned about, a lot of things they were worried about. I also think the Netflix deal kind of, they're definitely playing favorites in that regard. But no matter who gets it, it's going to suck for everybody, so it doesn't really matter. It's
going to suck for Hollywood. I know a lot of people are trying to spin it positively, but like, look, they're in a really bad situation because on one hand, they have Netflix, which, yeah, politically, Netflix is pretty progressive, but they don't seem to really care that much about theatrical releases, and they tend to cancel shows sometimes like immediately after they drop, and they don't do as much, so they might only do 6 episodes, and that's a quote-unquote season as far as Netflix is concerned, which means there's not going to be enough work to go around, and they're buying Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers produces a lot of content, and if they treat Warner Brothers like the rest of Netflix, it's not going to be good for Hollywood. Then the other hand, Paramount's like, we are committed to theatrical releases. You just have to put up with our politics, and you might not.
Well, that's that too. Either. And plus, their funding's coming from a lot of different sources, which is concerning. It's not really a win situation here. I know Hollywood does not want Netflix to have it, but they don't want Paramount to have it either because they don't like them either. But this whole thing, like, I'm not getting my way, so I'm going to, counter offer even after it's accepted. Okay, and now we're going to sue. It's kind of like, I mean, even if they're not wrong, it's coming across really not great.
So, I mean, all of this could take, for this deal to get finalized, whoever winds up with it, it could take years. I mean, it could take 2 or 3 years. And I think what's going to happen is that Hollywood is going to be completely upended because they're going to kind of hold off, I think, on maybe greenlighting some stuff because they're going to be like, we don't know what the hell's going on.
Well, they're already probably doing that because they're coming into the, year again where all these contracts are up.
Yeah, it's like every other year.
And then
it's
they're
like
all going to fight. They're all going to fight the AI stuff. Mm-hmm. And everything else. So they're trying to, we've mentioned before, they're trying to sweetheart deal them with like, oh, we'll help you pay for your, health insurance and stuff like that, which we talked about before. But, a lot of places are waiting to see anyway with that. And then this whole thing, if that, what you're saying is true, it could get worse, not better.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen is while Hollywood kind of pisses around, I think we're going to have some smaller studios like upstarts or digital studios kind of, come in from the side and be like, oh, hey, they're not producing new stuff that you guys like. We'll do it. Mm-hmm. We'll make some stuff. So this comes from The Verge. Paramount sues after Warner Brothers Discovery rejects its latest deal. David Ellison wants Warner Brothers Discovery to share more details about its Netflix deal with shareholders. All right, Paramount's turning up the pressure on Warner Brothers Discovery in the wake of its merger with Netflix as it's now suing the David Zaslav-helmed company in an attempt to get more details surrounding the agreement. In addition to the lawsuit, Paramount CEO David Ellison revealed that the company plans to nominate directors to Warner Brothers board to vote against the deal with Netflix. Wow.
Well, just because you nominate doesn't mean that they get put on the board, though, as we found out with Disney and stuff.
I think what's going to happen, because I know Trump wants the Ellisons to get Warner Brothers because he wants to shut down CNN or something. I think what's going to happen is the federal government is going to stop the deal from going through. They're going to dawdle and then eventually try to push Paramount through. I don't know if they're going to be successful.
I mean, again, I want to argue. I mean, I don't think the Netflix is a good idea either. But I think the president using power like that is not cool. Just to get his friends what they want. I don't care if it was Trump or somebody else. I don't care if it was Biden or anybody. I would say the same thing then. It's like it's not cool. It's not okay to try to use power to try to get your friends the deals they want.
I'm just going to tell you what I think is going to go down, how it's going to go down. Because he said before, he made comments before that it's like, yeah, it's good luck getting through the regulatory process. And they'll find some technicality to not push it through. Just a hunch. I don't know for 100% certain, but if I had to guess, they'll find a reason for Netflix to not get it and then turn around and try to push Paramount through.
And I think there would be more conflict of interest, with the Paramount taking it than Netflix taking it. But that's just me.
I would think that too, because they already have news stations, they already have
the television,
they already have studios, and so I don't know. All right, so after fielding offers from a range of companies, including Paramount, Warner Brothers settled on a deal with Netflix, which will acquire the company's studio, HBO Max, for $82.7 billion. And I think they already knew this is where they're going to go, hence the casting decisions on the Harry Potter reboot. I'm just saying they already had like one foot in the Netflix camp. But Paramount isn't taking no for an answer. The company launched a $108 billion hostile takeover bid to purchase all of Warner Brothers in December. Warner Brothers later rejected this deal along with Paramount's amended offer.
Now, something else to clarify, too. Warner Brothers wants to spin off Discovery into Discovery Global and still keep a lot of the Discovery stuff, and they still have their own streaming channel. Netflix is willing to just buy the HBO assets and let them do that. Paramount wants all of it, including the streaming, so they can have their own Discovery streaming.
I think, David Zaslav came from Discovery. Mm-hmm. So I think, I'll tell you what I think is actually going on here. I think he made a deal with Ted Sarandos over at Netflix, Zaslav. He's going to cash out hugely, and he's going to get to still head up Discovery. And still
he's not supposed to be in charge of Discovery, but he's still being,
We'll see. We'll see. Paramount has now filed a lawsuit against Warner Brothers to ask the court to force the company to disclose more details about its Netflix agreement with the shareholders, such as how it valued the transaction. Warner Brothers Discovery has provided increasingly novel reasons for avoiding a transaction with Paramount, but what it has never said, because it cannot, is that the Netflix transaction is financially superior to our actual offer. They have sidestepped that. They've kind of been like, we think, we just don't think they can get the money or whatever. And we don't, because they're offering them more money.
But they're offering more money because they're trying to take everything.
They want everything. Yeah.
That's why that's a bigger deal. They want everything.
Yes. Ellison adds that Paramount plans to appoint a slate of directors ahead of Warner Brothers' next shareholder meeting who will exercise Warner Brothers' right under the Netflix agreement to engage on Paramount's offer and enter into a transaction with Paramount.
I'm sorry, though. Okay, even if you're right. Yeah, exactly. Like screaming kid. Even if you're right. That's how it comes across. Here's our counter offer. No, we don't want that either. We're going to stick with the offer we have. We're going to sue you and we're going to go get our own people on the board to make sure that you do vote the way we want and vote our way. That's literally what they're doing. It does come across as Richie kid is mad and they're not going to go away and they're having a temper tantrum with massive money. They're just throwing at this thing. And I'm like, why? Why does it matter that much? And they're having such a temper tantrum about the whole thing. And that's how it comes across. It is coming across very much like that. I don't know if that's the actual intention, but that's how it's coming across.
It's just so weird. Like, why is Warner Brothers, of all these properties, why is Warner Brothers the one that's everybody's fighting over, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. But it is, I mean, we're looking at kind of like Endstage Hollywood, where they're all collapsing into each other. And I think there's more at stake than just this transaction. I think this really is going to be the future of Hollywood because, either we're going to have, multiple studios merge together, Paramount and Warner Brothers legacy studios. We said
was going to happen. We always figured that was going to happen.
Or, Netflix is going to basically take over Hollywood, which they already kind of have. It happened so quickly, and a lot of it's because Hollywood was just stupid and greedy. I mean, they were fine when they were distributing their own stuff on Netflix's platform, and Netflix was pretty content with just occasionally putting out content. But once they all started getting greedy and they wanted to start their own streaming services, and they wanted to play hardball, and they thought that they built Netflix. Like, oh, we built Netflix. You know, we did this, so we're gonna, you know, take The Office and take Friends, and we're gonna go start our own streaming platforms. And then they all blew themselves up and trying to compete. And it's like, if you just, you know, Netflix would not have been incentivized to create their own content to compete with you if you had left your content
did create
there.
Content, but like they weren't like, you know.
Occasionally, it was a couple Netflix originals here and there. They did like Orange is the New Black, and you know, but it wasn't like now where now they're
Stranger
a
Things
studio.
and all that. Yeah.
But now they're like really ramping up the content because they have to, because they lost a bunch of the Hollywood content, right? So and they did it to themselves, and they didn't see Netflix coming. I mean, seriously, who could have though? It's like, okay, well, this is just some mail order DVD place. And now all of a sudden, you know, they're basically running Hollywood.
Yeah, and then Hollywood doesn't want Netflix to have it because, you know, they've already said 17-day theatrical windows, and they're just like not, you know, Hollywood already knows they're screwed, but they're complaining either way. The theaters are complaining either way, no matter who gets it. But I don't know what other viable answer you have. Warner Brothers staying by themselves isn't working either. But Paramount's behavior is, I mean, it might have even been underhanded. It might have been that they were making backdoor deals with Netflix. There's a 100% possibility that's, you know, could have happened. I get that that's a strong possibility. That being said, you know, they already have a deal. You guys throwing a hissy fit and acting like you're a bunch of babies isn't helping.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, guys. I don't even know who to root for. I think it's going to change everything, though. Whoever gets Warner Brothers, that is going to be the deal, I think, that signals the end of Hollywood as we've known it. Like, we're already seeing it, but, like, we're really going to see it once that happens. I
don't know. I just think it's not a good look for Paramount.
No, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I think there's going to be government interference. I have a sneaking suspicion. Are we going to wrap this up?
I don't agree with that. But yes, we can wrap this up.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.